Hi, it's Chris here. In this video I'm just going to quickly run through some of the properties and features of Google Analytics that you may find handy, and hopefully this might answer some of your questions. So first of all, I'm starting this video assuming that you've already sort of got Google Analytics set up and linked to your website. If you don't already have this in place, let me know, and I've got another video that runs through the steps that will allow you to install Google Analytics and show you, each step involved. So if you do have it set up and you're accessing your Google Analytics, you will more than likely land at a screen that looks similar to this. This is what's called your audience overview. Now some quick things I will show you that's going to sort of help you find your way around. More often than not, if you hover over something, it will, I guess, tell you a more in-depth detail of what it's about. And if that's not enough, you can often click this little, looks like sort of a college hat up here, and it gives you a much more in-depth explanation of what you're looking at, and often even shows you a little video that will describe what you're looking at in more detail, and it even has sort of maybe some steps you can step through to learn more about it. So if I don't cover it, you can definitely find the information you're looking for through one of these two techniques. So first of all, one question I quite often get is what's users versus sessions. So how they decide for this is users is sort of individual people, whereas sessions, I guess, is traffic or visitors to the website. So from my office, if I was to visit your website 5 times in one day, that would count as 5 sessions, but would only be one user because I'm accessing it from the one spot. So that's, it's counted as one person, but 5 sessions. So that's the difference there. And if you have any sort of questions around the rest, as I mentioned, just hover over and I'll let you know. One other thing people quite often like to do, up here if you click in the right hand corner where the sort of date is you can compare this month's data to either the previous month by just selecting previous period, or this same month in the previous year, or you can even do it to a custom period, so you can actually set a date just by sort of clicking where you want to set your reports. But for this example, let's just do previous year and hit apply. And straight away this just shows us you've got last year in the orange versus this year in the blue, and it shows us percentage differences and the number differences in this period compared to the comparison, which can be quite handy to know as well. And then to undo that, just simply click back up here, untick the compare to, and hit apply again. Another thing you can do is obviously export the information you're seeing either as a PDF, or which will sort of give you more of a visual interpretation. Whereas if you want to be sort of doing making reports or comparing data and that kind of thing, you may like to receive the information in a CSV or an Excel sort of format. You can also set it to email you this information, so you could say, you can put in your email address, set how you want to receive the information, how often, what day, and how long this report's going to be active for. Quite often you'd set sort of 12 months, so you can just forget about it for a while and just set a reminder for in 12 months to come back into Analytics and reconfigure your reports. So this is one way you can just automate the delivery of information to you when you want it, so you don't have to bother with coming in here and accessing it all this way. Another thing you can do is if you come across a bit of information that you do like, say for example you want this timeline, you can click Add to Dashboard. Now you'll probably won't have a dashboard available, so you just click New Dashboard and make up a name for it. So and then select the information from the page that you want to add. So I don't really want the sessions by language table down here. I'm more interested in the timeline, so I'll just hit timeline and then add to dashboard. What this does is just adds that little bit of information to like a customizable report here or dashboard. I'll just quickly show you how you can customize. So up here in customize dashboard, you can set how the page will be laid out, for example, and once you've got quite a few widgets or segments in here, you can drag them around and move them where you want them to be. If you want to make your own custom bit of information, that's very easy. Just hit Add Widget, select how you want the information to appear, either in standard, so looking at the like the monthly time frame, or real time, which is going to give you information about right now. More often than not, I think in a reporting sort of view, you'd want standard. So select how you want the information to appear, so pie chart for example. Then just select the metric and what you want it to be grouped by. So for example, you might want to see how many sessions there have been, and you may want to group it by the the browser they've used, just as an example. Select how many slices are going to be in the pie and hit save. So this just gives us basically the information we asked for. One reason you might want this kind of information is if you see like, wow, a lot of people are using my website using Google Chrome. I've never actually used that browser, so maybe I should check if my website works in Chrome. So that might be why this information could be useful. Because sometimes a website can load differently in different browsers, so that's something you want to, I guess, protect against. So as I mentioned, once you have quite a few sort of widgets in here, you can drag them around and position them how you want them. So one thing I would recommend is to take the time, it's only maybe 10 minutes, to make your way through all the options here in the side menu, just to get a good idea of all the different information that is available for you. Because there's a lot in there, and I can't go through each and every option and explain them in this video. But if you want one area in like a more depth, please let me know. But if you take the time to go through and have a look at the different information, and if you ever find information that you think would be really handy to have in your report, say for example this map, just go through the process of adding it to your dashboard as I mentioned earlier. And I'll sort of show you why in a little bit. So quickly going through some of the menu items on the left and sort of what information you're going to find in each area. We've got real time, which shows you active users on your website right now. So I can see there's someone currently in Melbourne using the site. If I go and sort of refresh the site I'm looking at here, this value should adjust to 2 once it refreshes, and we'll see that there's another user sort of up in this Brisbane area. There we go. And we can see things like the sources So we can see that I was a direct traffic. This other person appears to be coming from a Google ad. We can see the content they're currently looking at. Both people are currently looking at the homepage. So that's sort of what the whole real-time area is about. Audience overview gives you a snapshot of basically the traffic that's come to your site, where they've come from, and a bit about who they are, including, as I showed before, we've got age, gender, interests. We can see engagement levels, so how long they've spent on the website. So let's just, we can't add that one to the dashboard. So if any of them can't be added to the dashboard and says stay tuned, it just means they're sort of, I guess, working on that at the moment. And when they get it sorted, we'll be able to do it. We can even see the devices they're using. So if we have a look in here on mobile and overview, we can see that a lot of the traffic is still primarily desktop, but it's coming up close to sort of a 50-50 between mobile and tablet versus desktop. So if you see this and you're not actually sure if your website works in a mobile environment or how it looks, that's definitely something you should investigate, because they definitely load and look a bit different on the different devices. The acquisition section is more about sort of where your traffic came from. So you can see, was it organic search or direct or referral? You can see things like the top sources for all your referral traffic, and you can adjust the amounts of numbers you're seeing. So for these guys, we can see a lot of their referral traffic came from domain.com.au, from Gumtree, from Google Ads. We got some from Facebook and Seek and a few other sources here. So yeah, you can see where their referral sources come from. If we go into keywords and organic, we can see the top, I guess, keywords that people are typing into Google that results in them finding and accessing this website. So this information can be great to know if you're doing sort of search engine optimization strategies. This will give you a good snapshot. You can compare the reports and see if the SEO is actually working. If you want to get much more in-depth detail around, I guess, how your website is performing in the search engine, you can use Google Webmaster Tools. It's another free platform, much like Analytics, but more geared towards reports, specifically for how your website performs in search engines and some of its properties around SEO. Bing also has a similar tool for their search engine. So if you want to use those tools and sort of see how it's behaving, they're available and free to use. So I definitely recommend it. We can see things like what social networks have had referrals from. So we can see these guys have received 3 from Facebook in this period. Where are we looking at? We can also have a look at the behavior. So how people use the site, how much time they spent on there, what content they looked at, what was the top content. We can even see the flow of people, how they made their way through the website. So they came in on the home page, and then 229 of them went to job ads, and so many of them went to here and there, and we can actually get some good detail and see, I guess, where traffic's coming from. And where they're getting to. So this would be great if you had an e-commerce site, because you could track which traffic source was providing, I guess, which traffic source made their way to the thank you or the shopping cart page the most. things like that, which could be helpful to know, because then if you see that a lot of them are coming from a particular area, you could push more advertising that way, do that sort of stuff. So to do that, you would just come up here, look in acquisition and source, and now we can see, you know, they came from Google, what path they took. If they came from Bing, what path did they take? Things like that. So you know, it can be quite handy to see exactly where I guess your best traffic's coming from. And there's a whole lot of, as I mentioned, other information here that may or may not sort of be relevant to you. Just take the time to sort of have a look through it when you get the time. Last but not least, we have a conversions area, which is for setting up goals. Now, these aren't necessary for all websites, but if your website has, I guess, a shopping facility or an opt-in or things like that, I'd really recommend using these. So what you can do is basically set up goals like, you know, count this as a conversion if a traffic source reaches the thank you page, or if they play a video or something along those lines. So for example, go set up goals and new goal. We will say destination. So this would be great for us if you had an opt-in on your website, or perhaps you had a shopping cart or a thank you page or something. And so you could say, for every person that reaches thank you page, this will need to be the actual name of your page. So if it's, you know, www.domainname.com.au/thank you page, it may be .html, it may not be. It could be just thank you. You know, you'll have to check. That's all different for each website. But we'll just put thank you page, and we can even see that for every person that reaches this particular thank you page, that's worth $24 to the business. And so then you can get sort of accurate reports on, I guess, you know, how much conversions or profit the website made, or which sources of traffic led to the most profit, and all that sort of stuff. So this can be really handy. You don't actually have to set a monetary value, you can just set it as a goal that they reach this particular page. So you can also get reports on that sort of thing. And as I mentioned, you can even get set goals on if they, you know, click a button, or if they watch a particular video, just to get, I guess, conversion statistics around your traffic, which can be really important, because it's you don't just want to work on getting higher amounts of traffic, but it's also important to work on increasing your conversion rate, because there's no point in, if you just can increase your conversion rate by 5%, it could quite often make a huge difference compared to increasing your traffic by, say, 20 when it comes down to the bottom line. So that's where information like this can be really handy. So I hope sort of a lot of that information has helped. And so what I'd like you to do is, as I said, go through, find all the information that you like, add it to a dashboard, order it how you want by dragging and dropping. Any information that you're unable to add, you can see if you can create a custom widget to provide it for you. Then once you've got all this information in a nice, easy to read report, hit email and set it up so that it gets emailed to you, once a month or once a week for the next 12 months. And there you go, a lot of your website reporting will be done automatically for you. You don't have to worry about it. Easy as that. Hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Thanks and have a great day.